For this practice, you will need a towel, folded in half and rolled up the short way. And this is going to provide a cushion for your knees throughout the practice, any lunging we might do. So we're going to begin on hands and knees, nice flat back. Take a breath in for cow pose, and exhale, roll the spine for cat. Cow pose, inhale. Cat, exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Continue on, just getting that spine moving, hugging the spine around on that exhale. And this is a place you could have the towel under the knees if you needed. Dropping back to child's pose, just breathing out. Plant that forehead, relax the shoulders, relax the tailbone down towards the heels. Deep breath in. Exhaling. Anytime we hold a pose, it's a good idea to breathe 3 to 5 rounds. Coming back to all fours, walk your hands forward just a few inches and scooch those knees back a little bit to allow your spine to be as long as possible. Inviting in a little bit of cat and cow movement here, dropping the chest towards the floor and then hugging it in order to get that nice active stretch through the armpits, upper back. You should feel the abs engage here, actively reaching the tailbone back. Walking your way back, just onto your knees for a moment, grab your towel, and placing your left knee on top, step your right foot forward, and just come into a nice, long, low lunge, reaching the arms up, inhale, and interlace those hands behind you, exhale. Pulling the shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the tip of your chin up. You can sink those hips below the knee, so long as the knee is over the ankle. And then make your way back into a half split, stretching out the leg, reaching the chest forward, and maybe folding just a bit deeper. And also here you might reach for that foot. Give yourself a little bit of an active pull through the left side. Coming back into your lunge. Take a breath, step both feet back, downward facing dog, drop the head. Lifting up the heels, right leg lifts, bend the knee, and just circle out that hip a little bit. Really getting into the hip flexors, adductors, abductors, all of those muscles that work so hard as you're hiking along. Coming up onto your knees again, we're going to take that other side, right knee down, left knee forward, planting that left toe knuckle. Reach the arms back into that interlace behind you. If you can, you might rest the arms on the leg. Just breathing here deeply. And then scooching your way back to that half split. If your hammies are super tight here, try to release any pressure for straightening the leg. You can keep a slight bend in the knee. Try to release any hugging of your left hip up towards your left ribs. And just make your way back. It's okay for the hips to go behind the knee in this one. Stepping back to downward facing dog, big exhale. Coming up high on the heels, left leg lifts, bend that knee, start to circle out that leg again. A few times each direction. Exhaling again, heels down. We're going to come back to that right leg, stepping the foot through the hands, and make your way up into a standing shape, plugging the left heel down to the ground and the right toes are forward for your triangle pose. Rotating the ribs open, maybe keeping a soft closing in the left hip. You have different options with the arms, just trying out what works for you. You can reach that arm straight up, overhead, wrapping it around the back. Just breathe here. Slowly rise up, stepping forward, planting into your right foot. We're going to lift the left knee, hugging it up. There should be a nice release on that hip flexor. If you're struggling with some balance, maybe grab a hold of a tree, whatever you have accessible to you in nature, as this practice is intended for outdoors. Coming into Lord of the Dance, hold on to that left foot in your left hand. You can play around with the balance here or just stay in that static shape with the knee down. Just getting a quad stretch. Stepping the feet down. You're going to cross left ankle over the right thigh and sit those hips down for a figure 4 standing stretch. So you've chair pose in that right knee and a half pigeon leg in that left leg. A few breaths there and then step it down. Reaching up, breath in. Exhale, fold, drop the head. Grabbing opposite elbow and just bounce a little bit here. This should be a nice pull on the hamstrings. You don't have to go very far to feel it. Just exhale all of that tension. Holding here for just another moment. Halfway lifting. Step the feet back, high plank. Maybe drop those knees down to your folded towel, lower down to your belly. Little cobra pose. Exhale, roll it back down. Pressing through hands and knees, downward facing dog. Again, that towel's always there for you if you decide to do more stretches with your knees down on the ground. The hard packed earth can be really tough on the joints, so you just want to support yourself any way possible. Deep breaths here. Going to lift the left leg, bend that knee, step it between the hands. Same thing, other side, coming up to your triangle pose. Working that right hip back in space. Drop your left hand down, right arm up. And again, play around with the different arm shapes, especially if your shoulders are tired from lugging around any kind of heavy pack. You may want to just wrap that arm around the back and get a bit of a rotator cuff stretch. And if this flow is moving kind of quickly for you, just go ahead and pause at any point. Whatever feels good, you should stay there for a few more breaths. Stepping forward, we're going to balance into the left foot now and draw the right knee up, hug it in, roll the shoulders back. Release the hip flexors. The standing leg can have a slight bend in the knee for more balance, or again, take a hold of something sturdy. Transitioning that knee down, squeeze the inner thighs in, coming into that Lord of the Dance. You may kick the foot back into the hand to stretch that shoulder again. This can be a really good one on the upper body as well. Slowly stepping it down. And other side, we're going to cross right ankle over left thigh for that figure 4 standing stretch. Deep inhale. Exhaling. Try to remember to breathe through each of these shapes. Stepping it down. Opening up nice and wide. And we're going to point the toes out from the heels, a bit diagonal. Sit the hips down into goddess. I'm just going to work out the feet a little here, alternating heel lifts. Getting into the soles. Challenge here is keeping that tailbone tucked. Nice, open up the chest. Squeeze the forearms together right in front of you. And you can go back and forth, opening elbows like cactus arms and squeezing them in front of you until you come to a nice neutral spine. Lifting up, step your way forward. Exhale at the top. Reaching high, fold forward. Drop the head. Halfway lift. Step it back. Rock your shoulders forward, lower down. Maybe upward facing dog, maybe cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Dropping down to those knees. We're going to plant our sits bones on the towel now. Sitting down and crossing your right ankle over left. So same sort of thing that we did in standing, figure 4 stretch. And the towel under the hips should be a great cushion. Those hips might be a bit tender, lower back might be a bit sore. So using that towel or blanket or even a sleeping bag as a cushion can be really helpful here. We're just going to very simply switch sides. Nothing fancy here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Trying to sit that spine tall. Using this time to relax the mind as well. Removing that foot from that knee. Stretching the legs out long in front of you. And then let's just tuck left ankle back to start so you can see the shape of the legs. If this shape is difficult for you, keep the heel on the inside of the thigh. We're just going to go back and forth, going for a side stretch, side opening, getting into those lateral belly muscles. Again, this can be really nice if you've been lugging around a heavy pack all day. And just switching sides, tucking the right ankle back. If you can get those toes to the ground, great. Again, you can always have that sole of the foot on the inside of the left thigh. And we're just going to alternate that back and forth stretch. Really getting into the lat muscles. You may feel this a bit on the inner thighs as well. Legs forward. Sitting up tall, reach high, breath in. Exhaling, roll yourself forward. Try to remove any pressure from the fold itself. Just tuck yourself in, giving yourself a good hug, and breathe into the belly. Bringing the soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana, sitting tall. And that's going to be a nice inhale on the lift and an exhale to fold forward, dropping the head. Again, working those inner thighs and outer hips. Refreshing the legs. And this is a pose you really can't stay in too long unless you have serious knee tension at this time. So I'm scooching the towel back on my mat and lying my way down. You can place your neck or the base of your skull on the towel rather than directly under your head. Should provide some nice support for the neck. And then taking knee circles in each hand, rotating the knees out and away from each other, and then switching directions. A lot of emphasis on lower body as your legs are your vehicles through any sort of long distance or even a short distance hike where you're exerting a lot of effort uphill. You want to get the quads, hammies, inner and outer legs. And these figure 4 stretches are so great too for those muscles that wrap around the back and the glutes. Just taking the right foot now into half happy baby. You can stretch that left leg out long or keep the foot planted on the mat. Placing your left hand on your belly. Feel your breath come in and out. If it's not possible to get your right knee down as low as you'd like, just let it be where it is. I'm going to slowly transition into a twist, right knee over to the left side. Deep breaths in and out. Especially in this twist, let's see if we can breathe a little deeper. Bringing your right knee back to center. Realign your hips. Little side to side windshield wiper motion with those knees. Crossing the left ankle over the right thigh for that figure 4 supine. So as you'll notice, we've taken it standing, in seated, and lying down. Flexing the feet, and then transitioning your left hand to outer left foot for that half happy baby, hugging the inner thigh to the outer left arm. Maybe stretching that right leg long or keeping it bent. Just see what works for your hips. And slowly transitioning that left leg over into a spinal twist. Left arm out long to open up that chest. We're going to come out of our twist. Supine Baddha Konasana. Supta Baddha Konasana. Same thing. Knees out wide, soles of the feet together, and just relax those arms out to your sides. Deep breaths in, out. Bringing the knees back together. Give them a nice squeeze, lifting the head up to the knees. Rocking your way up. Namaste.